Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in this week. I'm Waller's Wallet, and today I wanted to talk about annual fees and their effective annual fees, because some of the comments I've seen or people talk about is an effective annual fee. Now, I've always believed that the annual fee for a credit card is that annual fee, because that is the money that comes from your bank account to pay for that credit card. But I feel we try to justify the annual fees by assigning values to these credits or other benefits. And I think the goal here is to always receive positive value for credit cards that have annual fees. And I mean, you can assign values if you want to the benefits, but you're still paying an annual fee for those benefits. And banks will give you credits, but I really think that's more so prepaying your own travel or even certain expenses. For example, if you were to pay Chase $450 for your Chase Sapphire Reserve and you meet their requirements, which are pretty simple, Chase will give you back up to $300 of your own money. And if you don't, well, they keep the money anyways. And I remember people applying for the Chase Sapphire Reserve when the bonus was 100,000 points, and there were people who didn't travel who were opening this credit card, which is weird, right? But I mean, for them, they were receiving a positive value, especially for that first year. But then some of these people were booking trips just to use that $300 credit. And this essentially cost them more money since they had the credit and they felt they had to use it. And I think there are really three ways you can classify these credits or cards with different credits. And the first one would be purchases you don't typically make, but you will make them because you have the credit. Number two, purchases you were going to make anyways, shifting the spending and the bank pays part of that cost. And number three, have credits from credit cards that you're not going to use. And I think all of these are going to factor into calculating your own effective annual fee. But I do think we need to talk about the value of airline or hotel resort credits as well. Because something I often see is people calculate these credits at 100% of the cash value, when I think it's more along the lines of 80 to 85% of the value. The reason being, if you had $100 in your hand right now, would you take that $100 and go buy a $100 American Airlines gift card just to make a purchase on American Airlines later today? The answer would be absolutely not. But if you took that same $100 and you could buy a $110 American Airlines gift card, would you do it? Yes, I believe you would. So if you're not willing to spend your money at a $1 to $1 ratio, then I don't think you can really calculate these credits at 100% of their value. And I think a good example of this would be is if you had an American Express offer for 10% off at Staples, then you could purchase $500 in Southwest gift cards for $450. And if you're using your American Express Blue Business Plus, you would also earn 1,000 membership reward points, which I value at about $15. But if you're also to go through the Chase shopping portal, you could also earn 2 points per dollar, where you would earn 1,000 ultimate reward points. Now, this is a your miles may vary situation, since some people say gift cards don't trigger the portal bonus, although personally, I've never had an issue for this. And if you value ultimate reward points at 1.8 cents per point, then you'd earn about $18 in value. Even if you calculated American Express points and Chase points at 1 cent per point, you would still receive $20 back instead of the point values I just gave. And by stacking this all together, you would get $50 back from your American Express offer, about $15 in membership reward points, and potentially $18 in ultimate reward points. And by stacking these together, you're paying roughly 83% of that cost for that $500 gift card, giving you a 17% discount. And even at a 1 cent per point calculation for membership rewards and Chase Ultimate Rewards, you would still save yourself 14% overall on this purchase. So let's start with purchases you're going to make anyways. And this is where I agree that you could subtract out the credits from your annual fee. Because in this fashion, instead of you paying the merchant directly, you pay the bank and then the bank pays the merchant and you receive the extra benefits for the credit card. And in this situation is where I think you might receive the most value for your money on these credits. But this is where I think most people actually calculate all their credits when it comes to their annual fees, which I think is inaccurate. For example, I like to travel, so if I had the Chase Sapphire Reserve and I was booking an award flight, I was already going to be paying the taxes and fees for that award flight. So by booking the taxes and fees on my Chase Sapphire Reserve, I essentially pay the taxes anyway by paying Chase, who reimburses me the taxes and fees, plus I get all the extra benefits of the Chase Sapphire Reserve. But if you aren't someone that travels and you have this card, then I think you would fall into the next section of people, and that is purchases you don't normally make, but you're going to make them because you have a credit. And I think this one actually gets me worked up the most when I hear people talk about their credits. Just because your credit card offers you a credit doesn't mean you're actually saving yourself any money. You could actually be spending more money by using this credit than not having the credit at all, which is a win for the banks. And here's another example. I've never used Grubhub, Uber Eats, Seamless, or any other delivery service. But my American Express Gold gives me a $10 monthly credit to use at specific restaurants or even those delivery services. So some will say this calculates at $120 off my annual fee because I have this credit. Since I don't already use these services, this now becomes an additional cost to me and doesn't actually reduce my annual fee. So if I were to spend $15 per month on a meal delivery service like using Grubhub, then I would get to finally use my credit and it would only cost me $5 per month, which is a win, right? I don't think so, because I would actually spend $180 per year by using this service. $120 of it would shift from me paying directly to Grubhub, then it would come from American Express, which helps, but I've actually spent an extra $60 per year, which is $60 more than I would have personally spent on Grubhub. So in the end, I spent more money, and if you calculate the annual fees by subtracting the credit, then it becomes $250 minus $120 plus $60, which is $190, and then you need to take into account the airline credit as well. And no one really wants to explain this as an added cost, only the fact that you're going to save $120 due to those credits. The only situation I think this would subtract out exactly is if you spent $10 exactly each month. If you spent less than $10, then you aren't maximizing the credit entirely, and if you go over this, you're potentially spending more money. And lastly, we're going to take a look at subtracting credits that you were never going to use anyways. And some of these premium credit cards offer great benefits and credits at certain hotels or even other programs. But unless you were going to use these programs or stay at a particular hotel or resort, these credits mean absolutely nothing to you. For example, the Hilton Aspire credit card offers a $250 resort credit at participating Hilton resorts. And while this is a great benefit, I can't remember the last time I actually paid for a hotel stay, let alone stayed at a Hilton resort. And I'm not going to go out of my way to pay for a hotel or use extra points just to use this credit. So in the big picture, this benefit has little to no value to me. So I really can't subtract $250 from my annual fee because I'm not going to use this benefit to begin with. And if you did adjust your travel patterns to use this credit, then you're going back into the category of making purchases you don't normally make, but you're going to make them because of the travel credit, which again could be costing you more money. And at the end of the day, we're paying the banks a fee for their credit cards in the hopes of receiving positive value from them. But strictly subtracting the credits listed by the banks, I don't think is an effective way to really calculate your effective annual fee, since I think there's more that goes into these calculations than the numbers the banks are giving you for a credit. And if you flip through different forums, you'll see many of these credits go unused or not completely used up. And I hope all of you are using your credits to extract the maximum value from your credit card benefits. So tell me, how do you calculate an effective annual fee? Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in this week. If you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, or if you know somebody who might benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. And if you want to help support the channel, a simple way would be to use the links on the website or in the descriptions below. And remember, I post new videos every Thursday, so if you like learning about credit cards, points, miles, cashback, or just flat out traveling for less, consider hitting the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you all next week. Safe travels and take care.